Hi class, this is Haley and this is my take on our chapter 6 reading from this week. I really enjoyed this chapter. I think I liked it a lot because it's funny that it's about memory. I'm actually taking another class this semester that is on learning and memory, so a lot of the topics from this chapter relate to stuff I've already learned, which is kind of funny because I was pretty much learning what the material was talking about, and there's just a lot of connections going on. So the first one was that I really liked the War of Ghosts story. I thought it was just a really interesting way to assess memory, and I liked that it talked about at the end how different cultures and different upbringings and stuff might affect how your answers and your recall of that, because I am actually in the process of writing a paper about cultural influences as it relates to psychology and its application to us. After all of that was the different levels of processing. When you get into, it was funny, as I'm having a brain fart that we talk about this, so when we're talking about, shallow processing and deep processing, and shallow processing when you're just reading over something, you're not really putting much effort into it, versus when you get into your deep processing and you're really thinking and relating and doing all of those things, and you're not distracted, you're not just glancing over and reading words on a paper, you're actually looking at them, focusing, processing, and taking them in. The next one I actually really liked reading about was about the studies behind the testing effect and how it actually does have a basis in learning and why it is effective. As much as I'm sure everybody in all of their school years has hated taking weekly quizzes, tests, finals, and all of that, it is nice to know that there's a purpose behind it. I think it also is a reminder for a great study material to test yourself. Even if you like to take notes, if you like to do flashcards, that kind of thing, writing down keywords, a key person, or a really key concept of it, because then you can go back later and review yourself, and those mini tests really help. I know that kind of stuff helps for me. I like to take notes as I read, but reading my notes back to me doesn't seem to work as well as when I have to look up, look at a word or look at a person and, recall the information of, oh, what does this mean? What did this person do? And so on. Another part that I really liked to read and learn a little bit more about was false memories. In my other class that I'm taking on learning and memory, he has a great companion book with the textbook, and it's called 50 Great Myths of Popular Psychology, and it goes over a lot of stuff like this. False memories, repressed memories, leading questions, the eyewitness testimony comes up in there a lot, and I just think that the whole false memory thing is interesting. Obviously there's going to be holes in our memories because it's not a recording device. We can't look back, 10 years ago and remember something verbatim. So I know there's going to be holes and errors, but for our brains to essentially believe that an entire falsehood happened is kind of interesting. Now, I would be interested to see in the experiment and trial they talked about in the book, they were talking about the 4 false memories and how the false memory is somebody getting lost in a grocery store. Now, I feel like that's something that is pretty relatable. You hear about happen pretty commonly from friends, peers, in the media, stuff like that. So that's something that you could sway somebody to think is not a false memory. Now, of course, you don't want it to be like some outlandish, like, I'm just a student, mom, worker. My false memory isn't that I met somebody, playing in the NBA, but something that might be a little bit more common, but not common, I guess you could say. I'm not really sure how to phrase that, but I would like to see like different studies on it, I guess, to see how far science can push false memories, how much our brain can twist itself up, I guess you could say. So that is my analysis on chapter 6, what I thought about it, what I learned, and thanks.